Hey guys, welcome to Cyborg Kitty. In this video, we are going to talk about Pig-Latin. So the basic idea is a couple of rules here, as you can read in the left-hand portion. Pig-Latin takes the first consonant or the consonant cluster of an English word and moves it to the end of the word and suffixes an A. So let's just do an example, right? So we have some examples here. So in this case, if you do glove, glove, since it doesn't hit um, our vowels until here, this part will be cut out, and then we're going to add it to the end and then a at the end. So that's the whole idea. And the second condition they've given is, as far as the Pig-Latin goes, is if the word begins with the vowel itself. So for example, apple, what you'd want to do is you leave the word the way it is and add way at the end, W-A-Y. So by looking at this itself, we know for sure is to check for first instance of vowels in the string and then pretty much go from there. So what I'm going to use in here is I'm going to try and use a loop first and then use return to break the loop as soon as we hit that first vowel in the word. So first thing I'm going to do is create an array of vowels here. So we have A, E, I, O, and U. Okay, so now that we got here, so next thing, like I said earlier, is we're going to do a for loop. Initialize it to 0, I less than, string.length. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to loop through the string and get each letter at a time to see which one hits the vowel. So which part do we hit the vowels and then go from there. So and then I++ is the increment, so we can move through each character. Okay, so now that we got here, this is the initial loop, and what we're going to do is if vowel found, then I want to do something, right? If not, don't do anything, just keep going to the next spot. Okay, let me just get that. So that's the idea here. We're going to write some condition to do that. So what I want to use for this is use index of. So let's just see what index of does, right? So index of checks for certain character and returns its index. So let's just do, in here we'll just do, I'm just going to show you how it works. My bad. Return, we're going to take an array and then we do index of, and here let's just do I, right? And then see what happens. So at this point, if you run it, you'd see it's in stew. That is 0, A is on 0, E is on 1, I is on position 2. So if it is found in this array, it returns the position of that character. So what happens if you give a character that's not in the array and then you run it, it always returns -1. So we're going to use index of to find if any character in string in that position is in the vowels array itself. So how we do it is if vowel dot index of str on that position, so we're going to do position certain time is found, do something, right? Else don't do anything. Okay, so now we got the first part is actually see when the vowels are hit. So at this point we have two ways this can go. That is, if the first letter itself is a vowel, then just add way at the end and return the string. If the position where it hit is not the first string, which is in the instance of glove, it is the 0, 1, and 2, the second position. We cut this out and paste it at the end and then add a y. So let's go ahead and do that condition here. If, because the position of the character is indicated by I here in the for loop. So if I equal to 0, then we already know it hit the vowel, and we now know it is the first position, right? So then we do return str plus way, because that's what we wanted to do. So why do I use return here? Because what return does is return actually breaks the for loop. To like in any loop, if you use this return statement, return means the program's done, return the value, that's it, everything's closed. So by using return in this point, I am breaking out of the loop as soon as the vowels hit. That's a little bit about why I use the return there. I'm just gonna add another return here to an SDR, and then let's run it. So you would see that for this instance, it actually worked out. Oh, I did make a mistake here, which is we want to make sure it's greater than or equal to 0 because we want to see if vowel is found. So there we go. Because if that's not there, what happens is 0 is a null value itself and it screws up the if condition. So there we go. So if the position is found, because we know index of always returns a negative value, if it is not found in the array, then we know it's not a vowel. But if it is greater than or equal to 0, we know it is somewhere in here, so it's definitely a vowel. And then if the position is equal to 0, so if it is the first letter in the word, then all we do is add way at the end. So we successfully got the point where the first part is a vowel, we got the answers right. So now we still have to figure out how to cut the first part of consonants and patch it up at the end. Let's go ahead and do that. So so we just do an else statement here, because if it is not the first character, it's definitely somewhere in there. So here I would like to use substring to do this. The way substring works is substr. So if you do 1 and then run it, oh, wait, I still have to take this out 1 second. Let's just take this out for a second. Okay, so if I run this, you would see it starts from the starting position. You could do 2 arguments as well, and then you run it. You would see it starts from the position 1 and then goes to 2, 3, 4, and okay, wait, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it gives you the substring of that positions given here. So for example, if you actually do 5 and run it, it starts ITHM. So it includes the 5th position and then returns the rest of it. So what I want to do here is, let's paste that loop again. But wherever we found this position, I want to, let's just say in this case, in California, we know that the vowels at this point, we know it hit at the position I. So what I want to do is I want to get the rest of the word, not including this part. So what I do is str.substring starting at I, because wherever we hit the vowel, just from there, return the rest of the word. We take that, plus, now we want to patch the first part. So all we do is substring 0, I, because the way substring works is it goes up to the endpoint and does not include the endpoint. So by doing, in this case, it's 1. So from 0 to 1, it starts with 0, which is C. It does not include the first position. So you just get a C back. And then, of course, for the Pig Latin, we just have to add a Y at the end. And that will return, I'm just going to leave string here just as a return value if it hits out of the loop by some chance, even though that shouldn't happen. Okay, so now that we got this here, if you actually run it, it works perfectly. So the way we built this function now is initially we just wanted to find where the vowels hit in the first place. And once we hit the vowels, there's 2 conditions that can go from there. One is it could be the first letter itself. If that's the case, just return the string by adding way at the end. And it could be somewhere not the first letter. So in that case, we just cut whatever the first part of the consonant cluster, and then we leave the rest of the word here. We put the first part of the consonant cluster at the end of the string, and then add AY. Simple as that. So that's a little bit about how to write Pig Latin function in FreeCodeCamp algorithms. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got to learn something new today. And if you did like my video, do hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Of course, you want to see more of my videos. And yeah, have fun coding. I will see you next time. Bye.